Hey guys, Eckhart's Ladder. Hello and welcome to today's daily Star Wars upload. And I know, I said no more Galactic Versus episodes for at least a couple of days, but yesterday's video blew up, so I figured I would do at least one more. I'm thinking in the next couple of days, I might do a video on the strongest sci-fi civilizations, because that would kind of tie in nicely with what I'm doing now. And trust me, there are some civilizations that make the Forerunner in this video look like absolute babies. I am kind of curious though, would you guys rather see that, or would you like to see a Star Wars lore video or like a Star Wars top 5, my more traditional content? Let me know that down in the comments, and of course, also let me know if you liked this video and future matchups that you would like to see. And if you see a matchup that you like that someone else has suggested, make sure to give them a thumbs up and a supporting comment. There's not going to be a formal gawkbox.com update in this video just because I've done updates in the past few videos, but I will put the current leaderboard down in the bottom right corner. If you guys want to get on the leaderboard while also tipping me and supporting the channel for free, visit gawkbox.com/eckhartsladder on your mobile device. So today we are, once again, doing a Halo Star Wars matchup. I keep thinking that surely I or you guys are going to run out of fun matchups soon, but I don't really think that that's on the horizon because we keep coming up with fun video ideas, and these videos seem to be really popular. Specifically today we're looking at how a united Star Wars galaxy would fare against a full-scale Forerunner invasion. If you guys don't know who the Forerunner are or how powerful they are, don't worry, I'll get to that in just a minute, but there are a few rules for today's matchups. So on the Halo side, we're taking the Forerunner at the height of their power, so I guess somewhere at the beginning stages of the Forerunner Flood War. On the Star Wars side, we're taking the galaxy as it existed at the height of the Empire, arguably a few months before the Battle of Endor. Helping the Empire will be the united Star Wars galaxy, including the Rebel Alliance and any independent planet or sector fleets. The Star Wars universe will have access to Force users and an incomplete but fully functioning Death Star 2. The Forerunner will be invading the galaxy, and they'll take with them their entire navy, but only one of their megastructures. I'll get to this in just a second. The Forerunner are free to build new megastructures, but may not use any Halo array style weapons. Besides that, we just have a couple of minor rules. The first is that slip space is presumed to work in the Star Wars galaxy. Finally, the Forerunner are bloodlusted and not at all concerned with upholding the mantle of responsibility. Just to set the scenario, the Forerunner will be appearing in the unknown regions with their capital of maethrillian. The Star Wars galaxy can repel the invasion by either destroying a majority of the Forerunner fleet or by destroying the maethrillian itself. One more thing that I should add, because the Forerunner bring with them the maethrillian, they will also have access to the domain. Alright, so let's start the actual analysis, and step 1 is to take a deep look at the Forerunner. Because I haven't really featured the Forerunner very heavily in this series so far, I'm going to go pretty in-depth on the race. The Forerunner were a race of extraordinarily advanced aliens who inhabited much of the Milky Way Galaxy over 100,000 years before the events of the Halo franchise. The Forerunner Empire, which was often referred to as the Ecumene, was spread over 3,000 plus worlds. It's hard to say exactly how many Forerunner there were. There's one terminal in Halo 3 which kind of suggests that one planet may have had a population in the hundreds of billions, and with 3 million planets that's a lot, but I'm not really sure if that was the intention there. The Forerunner had extremely impressive building and astroengineering skills. They built several Halo arrays, various Dyson spheres, various structures that were hundreds of thousands of kilometers in size, and probably most notably, a shield with an interior slip space bubble that expanded to have an interior space stretching out in the hundreds of millions of kilometers. Forerunner were able to move planets and stars at will, and may have even been able to shift the galaxy's axial tilt. Notably, the Forerunner also visited several other dimensions, which in my mind really shows their level of power and scientific sophistication. Let's talk about the Forerunner Military though, and the first thing you should know is that the Forerunner operated through a caste system, and they had a specific caste which was used for military actions. These warrior servants most likely numbered in the trillions, and I say that because we know that at least that many were lost during the Forerunner's war against the Flood. For ground-based combat, the Forerunner would typically use combat skins. These would vary in strength from a class 1 to a class 18. Master Chief's armor at the time of Halo 1 was obviously immensely powerful, but by Forerunner standards would have only been a class 2 combat skin. That gives us again kind of an idea of how powerful this species truly was. However, in my mind, one of the most remarkable parts of the Forerunner is their navy. a single dreadnought, not even a dedicated warship, was able to power the Covenant city of High Charity for many years. And again, that's a single key ship, not a warship. We also saw a key ship on Earth in the events of Halo 3 survive being shot by multiple Mac rounds. Again, pretty impressive. The Forerunner Navy would have had millions, if not tens of millions of ships, and that's a very conservative estimate. We saw, for example, at the battle for the Maginot Sphere, and this was at the end of the Forerunner Flood War, when most of the Navy had been completely destroyed, that they still managed to field 11,000 ships. However, not only were these ships numerous, they were also very powerful. One of the most well-known Forerunner ships is the Fortress class, and these were over 100 kilometers long. Often a dozen or more of these would be used in a single battle. There were obviously smaller ships like the Pickett class and other cruisers, but they also got larger too. The Mantle's approach, for example, which was the Didact's flagship as seen in Halo 4, was over 350 kilometers tall. Notably, the Halo 4 visual guide actually makes it clear that while the ship is obviously very large, it is not the largest in the Forerunner Navy. However, the Mantle's approach and ships like it were extremely powerful. In Halo 4, we see that it's able to tank basically all of Earth's orbital defense fleet, firing supermax at it. Even the Infinity is only able to pierce a small hole in the shell of the ship. The ships were also very well armed, and the Mantle's approach had a weapon called the Composer, which could actually digitize living beings, turning them from physical objects into what's essentially code. However, even the great might of their starships is not what truly makes the Forerunner Military terrifying. The Forerunner used artificial intelligence, but not just any artificial intelligence, but extraordinarily advanced AI. And I mean, this is well-crafted, very advanced artificial intelligence, and certainly the most powerful constructs made even AI like Cortana or the Covenant AI look quite rudimentary in comparison. Because we're taking the Forerunner at the beginning of the war, they won't have their most advanced militarized AI offensive bias. However, they will have mendicant bias, and likely several other AI of his class. I mentioned that Forerunner used their AI extensively, and they certainly did in warfare. Often a single AI would be controlling the actions of an entire fleet. The Forerunner also used quasi-artificial intelligence in the use of sentinels and other machines. I think the Forerunner probably would have had an overwhelming amount of sentinels. I mean, we see that the shield world of Trevelyan had trillions alone. Besides for the aspects of Forerunner Military that I've already mentioned, they also use techniques like stellar manipulation, including the collapse of stars, other things like Guardians, and really the Forerunner just had a lot of militarized assets that they could throw at you. Alright, so let's look at the Star Wars universe, and I'm only going to do so very briefly because it's been featured in almost every one of these Galactic Versus episodes. So on a very basic level, at the time of the Star Wars galaxy that we're using, the main force would have been the Galactic Empire. The Empire would have most likely had millions, if not billions of ships and trillions of warriors at their disposal. In addition, the galaxy also has access to powerful Force users, including Darth Vader, Emperor Palpatine, Yoda, although he would have been very old at this point, and the Skywalker twins, although Luke was still only training as a Jedi Knight at this point, and Leia had no real conscious use of the Force. In addition, the Star Wars galaxy also has use of the Rebel Alliance, and billions of systems, many of which would have had their own dedicated defense forces. With this basic understanding, let's now move to the actual battle. I truly think that it's pretty clear what's going to happen here. When you have an understanding of the Forerunner, I think it's pretty clear that the Star Wars galaxy has no chance to succeed, at least by conventional means. The production capabilities of the Forerunner and their scientific achievements are just totally out of control. When the Forerunners settle in the unknown regions, they will most likely start forming their own Maginot Line. This will offer them some good defensive capabilities, and I mean, in Halo, we see that Maginot Line installations can even take ships out from slip space. Perhaps it can do the same through hyperspace, I'm not really sure. But regardless, I don't think it's super important because the Forerunner are going to very quickly go on the offensive. I want to very briefly compare the slip space abilities of the Forerunner and the hyperspace abilities of factions within the Star Wars Empire. In Halo 4, we see that Forerunner slip space is nearly instantaneous. Arguably, they're at a disadvantage because they don't have the Star Wars galaxy mapped out yet, but I'm fairly sure that the trillions and trillions of sentinels that they have should be able to help map the galaxy fairly quickly. With their navy now on the offensive, you've got hundreds, if not thousands of weapons, each as massive or more so than the first Death Star, being escorted by thousands of capital ships and millions and billions of sentinels. And not only are these ships numerous, but they're also powerful, and probably worse than that, they're highly coordinated by very advanced artificial intelligence. Star Wars really doesn't use AI. I mean, individual ships are captained by people, and even guns on those ships are usually manned. We saw during the Thrawn trilogy in Star Wars Legends just how much difference a well-coordinated fleet can actually make. However, instead of Jorah Sabaoth, the Forerunner have very advanced artificial intelligence, and their coordination will probably be about 100, if not thousands of times more efficient. Really, the Star Wars universe has no chance conventionally. The ships are just too powerful, too numerous, too efficient, and the Forerunner are just too advanced as a species. I don't think Force users will even be able to save the galaxy here. They may be able to see what the Forerunner are doing in advance, but they won't be able to stop them. I mean, even Palpatine's most powerful move is the Force Storm, and that might be effective, but really, it's nothing against the firepower of the Forerunner. Really, the only chance the Star Wars universe has is if some sort of esoteric power gets involved. I think if Abeloth, or perhaps one of the Ones or some other Celestial got involved, then maybe they could do some serious damage. But I'm not really going to analyze that just because of how weird it is and how hard it is to compare a creature which focuses on reality warping against a very powerful empire. Additionally, maybe interdimensional beings like Waru or the Nal Nal might be able to do some serious damage, but realistically, I don't see how. It's also possible that the machine race of the Silentium could reproduce quickly and make large enough battleships to actually be a threat, but again, that seems pretty unlikely. So yeah, I'm going to give this one to the Forerunner, and I'm going to give it to them 9.95 times out of 10. Again, the only chance the Star Wars universe has is for some esoteric involvement, and I don't think that that's likely, and even if it does happen, I still think they're screwed. That, however, is just one man's opinion. Take a second right now to vote on who you think would win in the upper right-hand corner. I'll reveal the poll results at the end of the next Galactic Versus video. As I mentioned earlier, make sure to leave your thoughts on this video and your future suggestions down in the comments. And if you haven't already, please subscribe, and if you want to get further involved, follow me on Twitter. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. As always, may the Force be with you.